Hi, welcome back to my channel. I am Rosalind Yukich and you are at Rosalind's Health and Home, and I am so glad that you are here today. I'm so excited about today's video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you what our summer reading plans are, and this is so fun because we love to read. My kids absolutely love doing read alouds. I love reading read alouds with them, and so it is a lot of fun to do those. And then I have shared in a previous video how I don't really make my kids read books that they don't enjoy. Right now I'm working on just cultivating a love of reading in them, and I want them to have a passion for reading. And so I've not really done much assigned reading with them. My son, who's going into 6th grade, already knows that we are going to be doing a couple of assigned reading books for him for school next year. But right now, my goal is just to really cultivate that passion of reading because it's so important. I love to read. I just love to read. And so I want to pass that on to my children. So today I am joining up with Jennifer at Family of 3 and Lyndsay from Love Them Well. And we are, a bunch of us homeschool moms are sharing with you what our summer reading plans are. And you definitely want to, first of all, check out their channels below because they are wonderful homeschool moms that give so much good advice. I really enjoy following them here on the YouTubes. Also, the playlist for this collaboration is below, and you will definitely want to check that out because you're going to want to see what other moms are reading with their kids. It gives you great ideas. I don't know how many times I have watched a video by a homeschool mom talking about their reading lists, and all of a sudden it's like, yes, I forgot about that book, or I forgot about that series. And so I've gone and I've grabbed it on Kindle, and my kids were just so happy that I did. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. So let's go ahead and get started. So what are we reading right now? Because we are right at the end of our school year. I know that I've said that we are doing year-round homeschooling, but as it turns out, we are wrapping up our school year a little bit early this year, and that is just fine because also, as it turns out, we have some great summer plans for our kids, my husband and I. And so there will still be definitely learning opportunities all throughout the summer, but our subjects are going away after the 17th. And then towards the end of August, we're going to be free from book learning. We're still going to be learning, though. That is what this video is all about. So we are not going to be wrapping up the books that they've been reading at the present moment for school, and so they're going to continue that on throughout the summer. So my 6th grader is reading this book by John Bybee, The Only Game in Town. He is working through this the Free Spirit Flyer series, and he absolutely loves the series. He is so passionate about it, and so he's going to be reading that. Also, he is working his way through the Left Behind for Kids series, and so he's also going to be continuing that in his own reading. My 4th grader is working his way through Heidi right now. This is an assigned reading book, but he's really enjoying it. And so we are just over halfway through, and so he's going to continue with that. He also does reading eggs, and so he absolutely adores reading eggs. So we're going to continue those two things for him through the summer. And now these are their own reading. This is not read alouds. And so once they're done, like when my 6th grader is done with this Spirit Flyer series book, he's probably going to choose either another one in that series or go for Left Behind for Kids. Now there's enough in both of those series left that will definitely take him through the summer. And the same with my 4th grader. Once he's done with Heidi, he's just going to go on to reading eggs. And since he loves that so much, we're just going to continue with that through the summer. So as far as read alouds go, right now we are reading this book about Gladys Aylward, No Mountain Too High. They are absolutely adoring this. We had started a short unit in history about China, and so we grabbed this, and we just haven't finished yet. We have definitely moved on past China by now, but we're still in this book. I don't know if you've ever read about the life of Gladys Aylward. If you haven't, Her life was such an incredible adventure. It almost sounds like fiction when you read it, but it really did happen. She is a real person who really was a missionary in China, and this is a very true to life biography about her. And so I really encourage you to read that. If you haven't read it with your kids will enjoy it. It is definitely an adventure. Once we're done with that, we're moving on to this book. Now, I know you can't read it because it's in Bosnian. As you can see, it says Bosnian edition. This was sent to me by a fellow blogger, Judith Coles, and this was written by her father. Now, she was born in Asia because her parents were missionaries in Asia all of her growing up, and he wrote a lot of books. Actually, if you just search for him, Anthony Bulback, on Amazon, you will find several books by him. This was an adventure series that he began for children, and the translation in English is, I'm grabbing that real quick. I had it and then I forgot it. Smugglers in Hong Kong. And so this is in Bosnian. Bosnian is basically just a dialect difference of Croatian. And so, you know, it's going to be fully understandable for my children to read that. And since I actually lived in Bosnia for 3 months and know enough, and my husband is Bosnian, if I run into any words that I don't understand and can't explain to my children, he will definitely be able to help me out with that if I don't know myself. So that is going to be our next one. Again, this is another China. So it's going to come right on the heels of our book about Gladys Aylward. Once we finish that up, we are going to be moving on to this book. I don't know if you've ever read any books by Marie Chapin. She is a fabulous, fabulous author. I have read a couple of her books. This one we actually read when I was young. And as you can see, this book it's fairly well loved. It's definitely an earmarked and everything. We read this book when I was young. This book is set in the former Yugoslavia during World War II. And so although it is somewhat of a novel, it is a novel based on actual events that happened. She did change the names in the book because at that time Yugoslavia was communist. And it talks about a man, an evangelist who traveled all over the former Yugoslavia, bringing the gospel to people from home to home. And so because Yugoslavia was communist at that time, she wanted to protect the identities of the people she was writing about. So she did change the names. Now, what's fun about this is that she does use some Croatian in here, or Serbo-Croatian. And of course, names and things it's all going to be so familiar to my children because it's set right here in the area where we're living in. And then the book ends up in Zagreb, which is fabulous. Now, I have to say that a most amazing thing about this is that we did read this book when I was little, and then I read it again when I was older, when I was actually preparing to come here, forgetting the setting of this book. And so as I was reading this book again, preparing to come here to Zagreb, I was absolutely floored, realizing that God had brought this book along our path. We did not know that my sister would end up here. She came about 5 years before I came, and that I would later also end up here, that we would both marry people from this region. It's just the ways of God are so amazing. They are amazing and wonderful and miraculous. And so we are going to be reading that book also over the summer. Another book that I did want to give my fourth grader that I actually forgot to mention earlier is this book. He loves the Titanic. He is absolutely passionate about the Titanic. So I found this one on Kindle. It is a fourth grade reading level. It is a fourth grade reading. Okay, so another book that I forgot to mention for my fourth grader that I grabbed this one on Kindle. It is, whoops, there you go. It's about the Titanic. Sorry, I have a child that's practicing drums right now. So this is about the Titanic, and he is super passionate about the Titanic. Now, it is fourth grade reading level, and he is just under fourth grade reading. So this is gonna kind of push him a little bit. this is one I think that we're going to read together. So I'll be sitting with him and kind of helping him through it. So another book that I grabbed for this school year, because we've been studying the Middle Ages, we're moving into the Renaissance period, is Prince and the Pauper. We watched the movie already, the Disney version, and my kids absolutely loved it. Could you please shut the door? Thank you. My kids absolutely loved the movie, and so I wanted to grab the book to do as a read aloud. So those are the books that we are going to be reading over the summer. I don't know that we're going to get through all of them, but if we do, that will actually clear out our reading list that I had set for this school year. So we will actually be done, and then I'll be choosing new books again for the 22-23 school year. If we actually get through those books and we need more, we are working through the Sugar Creek Gang series. We are also working through the Boxcar Children series. We began Little House, and we sort of took a break from it because my children weren't really loving it, which kind of disappointed me. We got into Farmer Boy and they weren't really loving it, and so we might actually come back and revisit that, sort of go back a couple of chapters and kind of refresh ourselves on where we left off. I would love to get through the Little House because I think they would really enjoy it, and I do have the series. I bought it on Hulu, and so, you know, reading it and watching it at the same time, and I know that the series doesn't exactly follow the books, and towards the end it like really departs from the books, but still it's kind of fun to have that sort of visual depiction of what things look like back in that time and things like that. And so we will see. We have lots of plans. I have a list of books and series that I want us to work through, and so yeah, we're working through them. I did want to get our reading list though cleared out for this school year because you know, we were working through this period in history, and then of course when we start the new school year we're going to be moving on, and so I want to then fill up our reading list with some historical books from that period in history as well. So I would love to know, what are your books that you are reading with your kids right now, and what books do you have on your bookshelf that you are working through, any series that you're working through, any books that you've been wanting to get through with your kids, whether they're read alouds or whether it's independent reading that you have given your kids to read, or that they're just reading on their own. I would love to know that. So leave that in the description or in the comment section below. And that wraps up this video for today. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you're not following my channel yet, I would love to invite you to follow my channel. I talk about a lot of homeschool things here on this channel, homeschooling in Croatia. So I do sort of mix in, as I did today, you know, some Croatian things as well as some, you know, English materials and that. I also talk about keto and healthy living on this channel, and so, you know, you can check out some videos on that if that interests you, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!